Okay, good afternoon again. So I've taken 3 samples from the Crucible that I've just lighted, not the new one. I didn't keep it firing for long, just a little bit, and something new that I started to do yesterday or the day before is kind of like, and we'll see how this affects the results actually, because I've taken the sample after I stopped the fire. Is something new is to stop the fire with water, because until now I just always blocked air, because I didn't want to delete the mixture and to spoil it with water. But I thought maybe you should use water. Water has, first of all, when you do it with water, it's quicker, and even though it's a little bit dangerous, but when the fire is really hot, when you add the water, for some reason, I don't know the explanation. I'm happy to learn. But when the fire is really strong and certainly if there is the enriched fuel, the enriched wax in there that's still burning, or there are remnants of turpentine, when you spill water, the fire is initially it's just there is a huge flame that sometimes it's even can slightly burn your hands. I don't know what's the explanation for that. I'm glad to know. So it's a little bit dangerous to do it with water. Certainly, I use as minimal amount of water as possible because I don't want it to flood the crucible. So I use not much water from a glass. So it's initially it's just create huge flame. I don't know why. I'll gladly get listen to an explanation. But then it is a bit more water and the fire stops and there is much less smoke that way, and also it's more dependable because with the new crucible, I started to use fires that are so strong that when you do it sometimes I didn't have the material that is needed in order to cover it thoroughly, and sometimes even when they covered it so thoroughly and they saw that the fire is dead, and then I removed it, and then it's kind of even if it seems like there is no fire, it's kind of combusting by itself, and again starting to burn. I don't know what the explanation for that, but maybe someone else knows. So water is more dependable. So regarding the issue of diluting the material, when I'm using crucibles when in iterative way, so always add more fuel and do more fire electrolysis, I do it in the last 2 weeks or so, which by the way was not always the case. It's kind of a new thing. Throughout all those months when I used electrolysis, for example, it was at some point, it became very, very. At some point, also with the electrolysis experiment, it became something like that, and I've even kept the same mixture for a week or two in the same a container with, gradual experiments. Yeah, so it's something like that. So the dilution in itself, the fact that so the mixture will be more diluted, a little bit diluted. It's not really a concern because in any case, it's kind of an iterative process where it became I always add more fuel and the fire of course evaporates much of the liquid, so in itself it's not a problem. It's going to be a problem only if the water is hazardous to the things that I want to do inside the crucible. First to the life of the neurons, and second to the creation of the life forms. And I would say that probably the answer to these two questions is that yes, they are, as I suspected from the first place, but probably not if there is only a small amount, and maybe a small amount could be actually beneficial because the neurons can use the hydrogen and the oxygen for their own purposes. Too much water is not good for the life of the neurons. That was established long ago. That they prefer to, they prefer to live they survive much better in oil environment or wax environment, and that is certain. But if it's just a small amount, it was shown that there is no problem with that, as we've seen in the ecosystem, the ecological experiments. The containers are kept the same way for like even months now, and like much of the liquid in this container is my pee actually, and the pee contains some like water. I mean, I assume so. So some amount of water is not like in itself a problem if there are other ways, other materials like specifically oil. But I mean, the best way is just to take a look and see. I mean, because these samples were taken after the fire is stopped, so the mixture should contain a little bit of water that I've added, and of course oil. And let's see what's inside. Okay. What's the problem? So really, I mean, there's a problem with the table of the microscope. I should really fix it. I mean, it's starting to really, I mean, it shouldn't affect the results like, I mean, the video, but it's just, I mean, very difficult to operate. I mean, the screws should be readjusted or something. So we see some definitely respectable life forms. Certainly not many Neros, but let's not abandon our hope. This one looks like a small one. Let's zoom in. Yeah, so this is a small Nero, and aside, and also much smaller ones than I mean the vicinity. This is 160 magnification. So we see a bunch of small ones. They shine very brightly. I mean, like the stargates. So we see many small ones, but not many big ones. Most small ones, disgusting life form. Another small one, many smaller ones. Maybe we should try to focus like on a smaller one, even more. I mean, zoom in even more. So this is the maximum zoom that I can use right now. We definitely see the flow, and we've seen a life form just in the flow. Do we see Neros? I'm not certain. I'm not certain. I'm not certain. Maybe this is a tiny one. Okay, so this one is a very, I mean, this, just a second. This one looks like a big one. I mean, a tiny one. I mean, big now, I need this like zoom level. This one, yes. And also for the disgusting, very small life forms. interesting. You see, when I press, like when I do the maximum zoom in, so the lens presses this lens, maximum lens magnification lens presses against the slide, against the cover, so it's great flow, like you see right now, like more flow of the liquid. So let's get back to 64. This one is a disgusting life form. So this is a Neo. So we see very small ones. It seems like the shock that, where there was a shock during the night, probably aimed at me, obviously. That's why, people assume, as usual, they always like find like excuse to assume that I was restarted, and presumably now I'm like a robot under their command. Anyway, so maybe it was just such a strong shock that it actually affected the neurons in the crucible. They were, outside in the window, and without even like a protection from the elements, as they say. Only the mixture itself, which is somewhat, oily and protects it. But still, there are many small ones that are living, which is good. And supposedly the big ones just, this is like, it's rather small, but bigger than what I've seen until now. So probably the bigger ones just, were shocked by whatever weapon that it was. Maybe you know more than I am what actually happened this night. But there was some kind of like attack. This one is beautiful. Let's try to zoom in a little bit. So I created the flow, and it's easy. It will be difficult to find him. He seems like a very nice one, certainly bright and good condition, but of course, on the smaller scale of what we have been used to, more smaller ones. This is okay, here we see several nice. So something, I guess something happened during the night, because otherwise it's difficult to explain why we don't see big ones. Like, we only see small ones, which is like, not like, we see tiny ones and small ones, but not medium or big or huge ones, I would say. So the huge ones, that, I assume they just died during the night. Because I don't think that adding just a little bit of tiny bit of water at now could have like killed the big ones. Doesn't make much sense, but mostly because something that happened during the night, because there was some kind of electric shock during the night. It also affected me, of course. I also felt it. When I woke up, I was like dizzy. Okay, so like my assumption is that that the bigger ones just died during the night, because of course they were left just unprotected on the window. But it's too smelly. To keep it inside the room after all the fires, and so what can I do? Most of my neos, of course, are kept in the containers, like in the vat containers, in the aquarium containers in there. And I really hope that they were not that affected by the shock. But maybe we'll take some samples later to see what's going on with these virus containers. Because if it was like very, maybe the shock even like penetrated the metal containers or the dresser and the glass containers inside it, and then maybe even the ecosystems were collapsing. It should be very sad, and it means we need to start again. But hopefully no. Hopefully, at least the most of it survived and still flourishing with all sorts of life forms and the things that are in the container. So now let's take a look at the we have two more slides from the Crucible. Maybe we'll have a significantly different result. Who knows? Of course, each sample is taken from a different part of the Crucible, so sometimes you see totally different results with samples from the same container. Oh wow, this is a beautiful one. Big one and beautiful one. And fat. Oh, so, I mean, this is completely different already. I mean, we see many Neros, even like bigger ones, and maybe the previous, I mean, slide was just taken from an unlucky part of the, was just an unlucky sample. I mean, you know, in just several weeks, I tend to like do, I mean, to conduct all these videos, I mean, like blindly, like, I mean, without previously, like, I mean, watching the slides as I've done in the previous months. So, I mean, one of the disadvantages is that I can't like filter like uninteresting results. But one of the advantages is that you have like, I mean, a very good indication of what's inside the containers, because I just, I mean, take samples and just show it to you, I mean, without like filtering, which is something that I've done in the previous months in order for the video to be more interesting. So it's kind of like less interesting videos, but more representative of what really inside the container. And I expect many of the like round shapes that we see that are not like entirely circle, like I mean not like this one. I mean this one is certainly a Nero, the one on the bottom is a beautiful one. But sometimes we see all sorts of like circular shapes that are not Neros but life forms, because they are, you should remember that I mean there are many life forms that are microbes that are circular. I mean in like generally circular, mostly not perfect circular, but I mean perfect circle, but generally like they have the circle like shape. So great, we see both like small one, bigger one, and medium ones. This one is more on par of what we were used to. Interestingly, that we don't see many huge ones in these. Like I mean, the biggest one that I've seen, I think that were actually the ones that we've seen in the samples from the aquariums. Like I mean, in several of the samples in the aquariums, like not in all of them, but it seems to me that by now, I mean, the biggest one will actually become, I mean, grew up like in the organic way by consuming like life forms and like gradually growing, not by the energetic way, which is electrolysis or the crucible. But of course, I mean, it doesn't mean much, because obviously, I mean, you can go the much bigger with the energy pathway, like of electricity and fire. It just, I mean, probably takes more time. You should remember that the containers, I mean, before we've seen the huge one, I mean, they were, I mean, we kept it like for 6 weeks, like in the containers, so they had a lot of time to actually, like, I mean, to create this like ecological niche with all the life forms that, I mean, the robotic microbes and the zombies and, you know, the mutants and like all the rest, all the fun animals. You see, of course, a lot of burned cotton and burned toilet paper. Ahmad, nice. Okay, not super interesting, but I mean, like, certainly more, I mean, lively, like, from the Nero perspective than like the previous one. This looks like, this focus level is similar to many like photographs, like old photographs of Mars, of the Martian surface. Monochromatic photographs. Okay, so let's take a quick look at the third one. life forms. Life forms. Not many neros, not at all actually. I mean, I don't see anyone, even one. Life forms, life forms, life forms. But this one, these are several small ones. Should be said that, I mean, that usually, I mean, you don't find many life forms if there are no neros, because the neros are creating the life forms. Unless they were already there because they were created before and the neros were died. I mean, they died, I mean, because of like something, you know, like electric shock or something like that, that killed them during the night. And that did not evaporate the life form. This is a disgusting, like sausage microbe. Well, certainly this one is also like the first one. It was very poor in neros. We've seen only small ones. This is a slightly bigger one, but certainly mostly small ones, and not many of them. So I do feel that, I mean, the things that, I mean, that whatever happened during the night did, I mean, affect the Crucible, but not in, I mean, not to the effect that they were extinct from the Crucible, not at all. I mean, we have millions in there. I mean, certainly, like, I mean, even millions of big ones, like certainly tiny ones. But yeah, I mean, certainly, I mean, it's not as dense as it was before. Certainly in big ones. Probably the bigger ones died before the smaller one. I don't know. Probably because. A lot of burned material. Maybe we should zoom in here just to take a better look at this one. Okay, so not particularly interesting. Okay, so overall, well, interesting results. Something happened during the night, but still, there are still, I mean, there are still like millions of neros inside this container. Because we've seen neros in each of the slides, and one of the three was actually very rich. Anyway, I will not light another fire now, because what I want to do is to advance with the starships and to create like the balls that will be like the basis of the new starship. So that's what I will do. I will do just very, very shortly. Also, of course, I will. What I'll do on the meantime, like I've done yesterday, that while I'll do the sculpturing, I will also record another chapter in the fairy tale, the Three Sister fairy tale.